Hello people, hope you're doing good. Welcome back to another double review. Hope you all enjoyed the last video and the trailer reaction. I had a good time with that. I might make some more though. Today we are reviewing two new movies, the new Hunger Games and Saltburn. Let's start off with the Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Hanging tree. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is a surprisingly good entry into the franchise. I had no expectations for this film. I'm a pretty big fan of the Hunger Games films, especially the first two, but I literally had no excitement for this one. But I'm happy to say that I was very surprised and happy to say that this is a good film. I really like seeing the downfall of President Snow, how he starts off as this really lovely guy who's sort of against the Hunger Games, and he will do anything to protect his tribute, Lucy Gray, in that arena. It just shows he's a very lovely guy who really just wants to protect everyone, not just his tribute, but his family as well. I also think the romance between Lucy Gray and Snow is really good as well. The two actors have some really good chemistry, and it just feels real. And I like the ending of it. It fits into the dark nature of the franchise really well. However, the development of the overall plots is kind of affected by a really rushed third act. The third act of this movie is pretty much an entire different movie. And in my opinion, people hate the fact that Mockingjay was split into two parts. Well, this film should have been split into two parts, in my opinion. Snow just turns evil because, well, he's evil in the future films. And it feels a bit goofy. It makes him look really silly. And it just kind of takes away a lot of the impact from the final scene. But I still think the final act had some pretty good moments, and I think the ending was overall pretty good. What the movie does really well, though, is making the world of Panem feel really cruel and dark. The capital houses the higher-ups who are just horrible, sadistic, you hate them. What they do to the tributes and the people in the districts is horrible. You just really want them to lose by the end. The Hunger Games themselves are presented as this horrible arena where people just kill each other in the most gruesome ways because they just really want to get out and be free. However, one thing I did not like about the games, and in fact the entire movie, I really hate it where someone is about to give the killing blow to someone and they just cut away at the last minute. That happens so many times in this film, and it got really annoying after a while. But apart from some weird editing at times, technically this film is really good. I love the way that they directed the Hunger Games, but when we go for the big scramble at the start, they just go through and follow Lucy Gray around with handheld cam, making you feel like you're in the arena with her trying to run away for your life. I thought that was a really good direction choice. The production design and the CGI in the film looked really good. It really brought the world of Panem to life, made you feel like it was a real place. I love how they made the capital look like this luscious, beautiful thing. This beautiful place with loads of horrible people in it. And then the districts that look all grimy and horrible and lived in. You just feel really sorry for the people living in the district when their home really looks like a dump. The music's pretty great as well, and no matter how much I think she's a bit of a weirdo sometimes with what she says, Rachel Zegler can sing, and she's giving me a little tiny bit of hope for the Snow White remake. Hopefully the scene will at least be okay in that. And the performances in this film were really good too. Tom Blythe and Rachel Zegler had some really good chemistry, and they produced some really good performances as well, even though I do think Zegler really could have used a bit of work with her accent at times. Jason Schwartzman was a perfect choice for young Lucky Flickerman, and Viola Davis and Peter Dinklage were really good and intimidating in their roles as well. So overall, The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is a welcome entry to the franchise. It fumbles a bit in the last act, and its editing is a bit weird at times, but I still had a really good time with it. I think it's a very, very good prequel to the Hunger Games franchise. Really expands the world and the characters a little bit more. So I'm going to give The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes a very good 7 out of 10. Now, let's get on to Saltburn. Saltburn is a stylistic, tonally inconsistent mess. It tells a simple story of a guy using his seductive ways to climb the class ladder, trick the rich. It has a very good story, which I think it presents in a very artistic and stylistic way. It just doesn't really hit what it needs to be, really. This film is certainly trying to be an Oscar winner, and it certainly feels like that. And I think that's its biggest flaw, because It tries way too hard to be artistic and stylistic at times. The film contains many scenes, with like very disgusting scenes, shocking moments. Some were good, some were really bad. Especially one, I don't want to get into spoilers, but if you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about when I mention a grave. Trust me, it's way weirder than you think. And because some of these moments were just really absurd and laughable, created plenty of tonal inconsistencies, and this movie's trying to be serious and comedic at the same time. And when you have scenes that's supposed to be serious but are really funny, it just really doesn't work. It makes the film feel like a full-blown comedy at times. And also some of the dialogue in this film just really didn't help as well. The dialogue was so on the nose with its commentary of the rich and how they view the poor that it just became so laughable. I couldn't take it seriously at times. However, I do think some of the shocking scenes and dark scenes worked very well. I think the final scene was really good, really creepy. It's really ruined a perfectly okay song for me. There was a few moments like those shocking scenes that I think worked really well. I thought they were really creepy, they convey character emotions pretty well, and I also liked how small things, subtle things, link heavily to the ending of this film. However, I do think the final reveal of this film was very disappointing. Moments feel forced in, it kind of feels cheap at times, and I get what they were trying to do with this ending, and I feel it could have worked if they did it a lot better and with more care. Because it just feels really forced and hammered home in some parts, and it creates a few plot holes if you think about it. However, while the story is disappointing, the performances in this were really, really good. Barry Keoghan, wow, he is 110% dedicated to this role. The things that he does in this film, I have to give him a round of applause because I could never do this, and it's so clear that he's putting his all into this film, and I have to respect that. Jacob Elordi, I think I said that right, sorry if I didn't. He was great in this film too. He's made me more excited for Priscilla. And Rosamund Pike and Richard E. Grant, I thought they did a really good job as well, and were very over the top in a good way. They just give it the right amount of insanity to make it realistic. And this film technically is really good. I really like the 4:3 aspect ratio, even though I do think it kind of hinders the fact that Saltburn is supposed to be this big and grand place that it's made out to be. The colour palette was really good. I love that everything is so colourful. And I really love the sound mixing. I like how it conveys character emotions as well. And there was one point where it was so good that it sent goosebumps around my body. Like, literally. There was one really effective scene with the audio. And I also think the pacing of this film was really good thanks to the editing. I'm going to say this now, that's a massive achievement because the film decides to linger on so many shots for long periods of time, which really can ruin a pacing sometimes. But I think the film was paced really well, the editing was all great. So, congratulations to the editors, you did a really good job with that. So overall, Saltburn is a well-directed film with some brilliant and dedicated performances. But unfortunately, it takes a simple subject matter, tries to be very artsy with it and complex, and it just feels like it's trying way too hard to be that. Don't get me wrong, there are some very good standout moments, mainly due to the performances. The story just doesn't hit as well as it should. However, still, please go and see this film. Show Hollywood that we want some original films back. We want weird stuff. That's what I like. I like weird stuff. I think we all do. So please, if you can, please make sure you can see Saltburn. So overall, I'm going to give Saltburn a pretty disappointing 6 out of 10. It's disappointing because the trailer really hyped me up. I was interested to see what they do with this film. And it just really didn't do what I wanted it to, really, unfortunately. Guys, that's it for the end of this double review. I hope you all enjoyed. If you have seen both of these films or any one of these films, please let me know what you thought of it in the comments. Always love to hear your thoughts. Next video, it's Napoleon. Really excited for that one. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Have a good day. And see you later.